Call to the member for Grey.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. The Albanese Labor government has presided over a historic rise in red tape in the housing sector, including over 1,500 new regulations in the Treasury and infrastructure portfolios, as well as a massive expansion of the national construction codes. However, yesterday the government suddenly decided to copy the Coalition's policy of freezing the code. While the Coalition welcomes the vote of confidence in our policies, will the Prime Minister now admit Labor's housing policies solve Australia's housing crisis?
Order. Before I call the Prime Minister, the member for Jellyman was interjecting continually during that question. He'll leave the chamber. You might be laughing, but it's not funny. People are entitled to be asked their question and to be heard in silence, just as every minister. We're not having any of that. The Prime Minister has the call.
I thank the member for Grey for his question, and I congratulate him on his election, and I'm sure that he would welcome the work that this government is doing in protecting jobs in Whyalla and in his area, and it's a great electorate where we are working hard to make sure that we continue to protect that industry, to protect that jobs, and to make sure those regional communities thrive. I must say something that my government has focused on in the last few years. I'm asked about housing, and the member suggests that maybe his shadow housing minister was wrong or this was ambiguous, but it doesn't sound ambiguous to me as a result of our announcement. Andrew Bragg, the shadow minister, said this: "We will work to try and stop these crazy ideas coming into existence." That was actually his response, not something that was supporting it, not trying to claim that they were in favour of it, just like the same shadow housing minister is trying to disallow progress in the Senate later today in a vote that will be held. Now, maybe the member can have a word with Senator Bragg, ring him up this afternoon and say, "Mate, I think you've got this wrong. I think you've got this wrong. I think you should back in the government on our policies." And while they're at it, they can back in our entire Homes for Australia plan, because it's certainly being backed in by coalition state ministers. Sam O'Connor has spoken about round two of the Queensland Housing Minister, by the way. Round two of the Housing Australia Future Fund will support us to build 1,005 new community homes at 17 sites across Queensland. This new deal is what it looks like when governments work together and focus on outcomes. Yep. Queensland LNP are a bit more supportive of us than they were of some people over there over the weekend when they were out there trashing net zero, to the tune of over 90%, including the National Party leader voting against the Liberal Party leader, showing the chaos that is there opposite, the chaos that has brought them to the position they're in today. Well, we on this side of the House will continue to put forward positive policies that make a difference to people, whether it is improving home ownership, improving the number of rentals, improving social and affordable housing, supporting greater rental assistance. We on this side of the House are focused on cost of living, are focused on housing. Those on that side just have Liberals fighting each other, the Nats fighting each other, and the Liberals fighting the Nats. We on this side are fighting for Australians. They're just fighting each other.
Order. I do not need interjection with the word time. As I've explained to the House before, it can work both ways. When shadow ministers and opposition members are within the 30 seconds they haven't asked their question, we can simply move on. So try and give everyone a fair go. We do not need to be reminding all the time of the clock. Trust me, I've got it in hand.
In the bustling chamber of Australia's Parliament, the member for Grey rises to challenge the Prime Minister on the nation's escalating housing crisis. With a pointed tone, he accuses the Albanese Labor government of drowning the sector in red tape, over 1,500 new regulations in Treasury and infrastructure alone, plus a bloated national construction code that's stifling progress. But in a surprising twist, he notes the government's abrupt pivot to freeze the code, mirroring the coalition's own policy. Will the Prime Minister finally admit, he demands, that Labor's housing strategies are utterly failing Australians? The Speaker intervenes sternly, ejecting the member for Jelly for incessant interruptions under Standing Order 94A, reminding the House that questions deserve silence and respect, just as answers do. Then, the floor yields to the Prime Minister, who begins with a gracious nod to the member for Grey's recent election victory and highlights Labour's efforts in safeguarding jobs in Whyalla and regional areas, investing in industries that keep communities vibrant and economies humming. Shifting to housing, the Prime Minister deftly counters the critique, quoting the Coalition's shadow housing minister Andrew Bragg, who had dismissed Labour's ideas as crazy and vowed to block them. He urges the member to chat with Senator Bragg, perhaps over a quick call, to align on supporting government initiatives instead of obstructing them in the Senate. Extending the olive branch further, he invites backing for the Full Homes for Australia plan, which has even won praise from Coalition state ministers like Queensland's Sam O'Connor. Round 2 of the Housing Australia Future Fund, he explains, will deliver 105 new community homes across 17 Queensland sites. A shining example of what happens when governments collaborate for real outcomes, not political games. He doesn't miss a beat in jabbing at the opposition's internal chaos, recalling their weekend debacle where over 90% trashed net zero commitments, with the National Party leader openly defying the Liberal head. That's the disarray over there, he quips, Liberals clashing with Liberals, Nats with Nats, and everyone against each other. In contrast, Labour stands united, pushing forward-thinking policies on home ownership, rental boosts, social housing expansions, and cost-of-living relief. We're fighting for everyday Australians, he concludes, while they're just fighting themselves. The Speaker restores order amid rising interjections, warning against timekeeping shouts and emphasising fairness, questions in 30 seconds or less, answers uninterrupted. This exchange, captured in a riveting parliamentary video clip lasting about 2 minutes, encapsulates the fiery divide on housing policy, the opposition's attack on regulatory overload versus Labour's defence of collaborative reforms, all laced with political barbs and calls for unity. It's a snapshot of democracy in action, tense and tactical.